I love Christmas. Cosy nights by the fire, untangling lights, untangling cats from the Christmas tree, untangling your drunk parents from a bush outside a pub, and reminiscing about better times when everything wasn't tangled. Some of my best Christmas memories are actually watching the telly, because what else is there to do? Spend time with people? Christmas specials are the best way to get in the Christmas spirit without resorting to actual Christmas spirits. And nobody does Christmas specials like British comedy before Mrs. Brown's Boys castrated it.
Oh yes, and Mick is a secret. Yeah. He must be ugly.
What? So let's talk about some of my favourites and my personal white whale of Christmas programming. Help me find that and I'll send you a present. So let's start off with something everyone will be familiar with. Literally everyone in the world, because it has no speech, so it's universally understood. Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean is an accurate documentary on how the English spend Christmas. For example, doing all the shopping on Christmas Eve, stealing the Christmas tree, only being able to afford one bauble from Harrods, and monumentally fucking up your partner's present because women, what do they even want? Wilder riddles. I can't possibly tell you how many people were inspired to create a massive super cracker out of a box of regular ones, but I'll bet you the ensuing burst eardrums beats any lame old joke.
Merry Christmas, Mr. B.
Most memorable is the turkey scene, where after losing his watch while stuffing it, the only logical thing to do is to put your whole head inside it. Next, I'd like to stick with Rowan Atkinson and Blackadder, the perfect adaptation of A Christmas Carol, excluding Muppets, but Muppets are in a league of their own. Blackadder is Atkinson's historic comedy, with each season set in a different period of British history, where Edmund Blackadder, played by Atkinson, is the anti-hero, accompanied by his servant or General Dogsbody Baldrick. This one-off special follows Ebenezer Blackadder, owner of Moustache Shop and the nicest man in England. He's kind, generous, empathetic. Everything that Scrooge wasn't. This unfortunately means people take advantage of him, taking his money, tree, presents and food. His business's profits all go to charity and con artists, and as a result, he is miserable. The Spirit of Christmas, played by the late Robbie Coltrane, pays him a visit on the night of Christmas Eve. Congratulating him for a job well done and showing him how bloody awful his ancestors were.
Go on, my lord, give it a little pull. You know you want to. You're ever so exciting. Oh, God.
But good on him for breaking this cycle, right? Except Ebenezer is curious as to how his own life would be had he the same charm, cunning and wit as his forefathers. Well, it's simple really. Grand Admiral Blackadder would be ruling over a galactic empire about to marry an absolute saucepot, with Baldrick as his slave.
Morning.
And should he continue on this path of righteousness?
Bob. Hail!
The opposite.
And your slave.
It's a very, very clear lesson here. All the bad guys have all the fun. A new leaf is then firmly overturned. No more pushover, no more Mr. Nice Nice, and everyone can just bugger off. Only, unfortunately for him, the gift of £50,000 is only for the nicest man in England. Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders had their own sketch show, and all of it is worth watching. But their Christmas specials are so memorable. In particular, their Titanic and their Star Wars parodies. There's nothing particularly Christmassy about them. They just go all out.
Oh, shit, Rose.
Don't ever let go.
I won't ever let go, Jim.
Oh, you've let go. Oh, God, you've let go. Oh, no.
Lisa, stay here, would you, sir? Lisa, now don't look at me, look at the dog. That's the eye line, the dog. I'm not here. I'm a computer graphic. I'll be filled in later. Look at the dog. Inspector.
Maybe and plead your case with the Senate.
But Ambassador...
No, thank you. To revoke the franchise.
I see.
To enable the Federation to lift the embargo.
I see. The Federation have gone too far this time. We must leave. Droid DB321.
The movie skits are interspersed with other fantastic sketches, and they can be found with a quick Google search. Sticking with Dawn French, I'd be crucified if I didn't mention The Vicar of Dibley and the famous Christmas dinner episode. The Vicar of Dibley is a comedy where French prays. She does pray. The Vicar of Dibley is a comedy where French plays Geraldine Granger, a new vicar in a small village where the majority of the locals are not quite right in some way or another. The vicar is so beloved and popular, when people heard she would be alone on Christmas Day, she agrees to Christmas lunch from 4 different people.
Yeah. Oh, and Alice, please remember, I haven't got a very big appetite.
And you can't turn people down, it's just not Christian, is it? And I personally can barely finish one Christmas dinner, let alone 4, including a sprout eating contest. Despite asking for small portions, she is served turkey and 16 types of vegetables, huge Christmas puddings, pasta and fish courses.
Family-sized portion.
Now, the turkey.
Even though she tries to hint at the ordeal that she's been through at the first 2 homes, Alice absolutely does not cotton on and said it would traumatise her if she had already eaten. Her final meal is a less than appetising one at the home of Owen, the farmer, who has spent every Christmas alone since 1971, but he also has an upset tummy. Fortunately, there is a very slick way of getting her back home. The flaming brandy on top of this episode is Geraldine mistakenly thinking Peter Capaldi is asking her to marry him, when he's actually asking her to marry him and his fiancée.
I didn't bring her in just now.
Funnily enough, another one of my favourite Christmas episodes is Vicar-based with Father Ted.
1, 2, 3. Hey!
A very Christmassy Ted has Ted unsure his life is the way he wants it. While Christmas shopping, he, Dougal and 6 other priests end up lost in the enormous lingerie section of the department store.
We're in lingerie. We're in lingerie. It's huge.
It's Ireland's biggest lingerie section, I understand.
And they have to try and escape without attracting attention and causing another scandal in the church.
I was messing about with one of these bras and a strap flew back and hit me in the eye. Go! Go!
Ted does this so flawlessly that the bishop awards him the Golden Cleric Award. However, a priest nobody seems to remember has come to watch the awards ceremony with an ulterior motive.
Bob, I loved you in Godfather 2. Todd.
It's a great episode, full of really memorable scenes, and I absolutely had to include it here. I've definitely left my favourite ones for last because I never go a year without watching them, and I often watch them during the year too. Alan Partridge doesn't just have a Christmassy name. Know Me Knowing You with Alan Partridge was a parody of a chat show with guests and musical and live acts, inevitably ending up somehow going wrong and making him look stupid.
The Deadly Daggers of Damazon.
I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind.
Know Me Knowing You was the 1995 Christmas special, hosted from a mock-up of his living room, which he insists is supposed to be like Noel's house party. Adding a little peril into the mix, BBC Chief Commissioning Editor Tony Hayers is invited. So everything has to go smoothly for Alan. With drag queen / chef Fanny Thomas making endless innuendos.
Oh, pardon.
some bell ringers, and the biggest Christmas cracker in the world, which holds a kidney dialysis machine for donation to Norwich Children's Hospital.
Sapling up from its roots. Oh, that right! The cracker's on fire! Abort the pole! Abort the pole! Get Gordon! Where's the fire extinguisher?
But unfortunately, the cracker isn't record-breaking as it catches fire, so the machine will be sent back to the supplier. Naturally, after having enough of the catastrophe that is the Christmas show, he ends up punching Tony Hayers with a chicken, who then swears to make sure he never works in television again.
Sorry, I need help.
Tony, not the chicken. Hence why he's relegated to Radio Norwich in later series. It's the perfect spoof of Christmas chat shows, and it always makes me laugh out loud. I think a special mention needs to go to the Flint Street Nativity. It's a standalone TV movie with prominent comedians of the time playing the roles of kids in primary school who put on a school nativity.
Who put Jesus in with Michael Owen?
Of course, there's drama. One girl playing the angel Gabriel, who tries anything to take the place of Mary.
She's not going to be Mary. No, I am. You are.
The turbulent friendships, the lad who's obsessed with astronauts,
We're losing radio contact.
and he also lost the class iguana called Michael Owen. The football-obsessed boy in his own make-believe world.
All around Gareth Southgate, Alan Smith in a 25-yard boxing. Yeah! Oh! Caught it in the stomach. And, well, that looked painful, Jimmy.
The farmer's daughter is just going on about the inaccuracies of it all. The narrator has stage fright and is looking for his dad, and the teacher's pet who's really excited to show everyone his torch.
He does that, then he does that, and then...
Shepherds!
It's brilliant. After the show, the parents gather up for some mulled wine, and they're played by the same actors, so we see the similarities in them and their kids. I don't think anything like this has been made since. Everyone's school nativity was like this. The essence has been distilled. So I've been trying to get others to watch it ever since. So go watch it. Peter Serafinowicz, the man who gave us the kitchen gun, and Brian Butterfield had a Christmas special as well as something I think is really fitting in the regular series. There was a segment called Ringo Remembers, and it has Serafinowicz imitating Starr as he recalls various things from his time with the Beatles, all of whom are also played by Serafinowicz. One of these is when Ringo tells the story of Christmas 1979, when Paul McCartney has written a new Christmas song and asked him to play drums in the video. But he wishes he listened to the song first.
Let's all have a sexual Christmas night. Let's all have an erotic holy night.
At least he states he did the decent thing and got the song banned and everyone arrested.
Spent 2.5 years in prison.
That's why I make sure to listen to it in secret. The actual Christmas special is also a masterpiece, with Terry Wogan getting progressively more stoned throughout, and a documentary segment about a tinsel slider
on his way to a Christmas party,
which is something I have every year. And we get Brian Butterfield with his charity work visiting children dressed as Princess Diana to check their names against the sex offenders register, and he presents them with something better than a box.
Butter tender!
You should always enjoy your butter tender with a classic Christmas pizza.
Christmas. Call 999!
Next on my list is something which has birthed the tradition of the Christmas marigold display in my family. Reeves and Mortimer hosted At Home with Vic and Bob in December 1993 on BBC Two. They presented a couple of Christmas specials and comedy clips, The Play for Today, Nuts in May, where I got the names for 2 of my cats.
What's this then?
Oh, that's our camping equipment.
Musical instruments and food larder.
Yes, leave it to me, Candice Marine.
What are you telling him, Keith?
The pilot for Shooting Stars and various festive sketches of their own. One of these sketches is Slade in Residence, regular on The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer, in which Vic, Bob, Paul Whitehouse and Mark Williams play Slade, who live in a council house together, next door to Ozzy Osbourne.
All right, Slade! Hello, Josie!
Dave has made them all turkey cuppa soup with stuffing flavour crisps, and they admired Dave's Xmas marigold display before opening presents.
Isn't that a water pistol?
A water pistol for Don, a monster truck for Jim, and Noddy gets some platform slippers.
I can't take it up for 8 slippers of glass.
Simon Le Bon then shows up in a real monster truck and brags about his turkey and his pump-action water gun while ruining Dave's Xmas marigold display.
Mine's got a pump-action, actually.
It's the surreal, stupid comedy that I love so much, and we watched it a lot as kids, and even more as grown-ups. Finally, what could be the most perfect Christmas special of all time? Series 2, Episode 5 of Bottom, Holy. Bottom is a sitcom with Rick Mayall and Ade Edmondson playing awkward, disgusting, unemployed cretins in a squalid flat in Hammersmith, London. It goes way over the top with slapstick and physical comedy, with each just fitting the roles effortlessly. One of my favourite shows of all time has to have one of my favourite Christmas episodes of all time too. Richie first insists on opening all his gifts from his stockings, being all the items needed for his Christmas lunch.
It's another Brussels sprout. Thought so. And good old Santa, he thinks of it.
And an empty mini bottle of Malibu.
It's a miniature bottle of Malibu. Correction, it's an empty miniature bottle of Malibu.
And a used toilet roll from Eddie, which he actually fashioned into a telescope with a picture of Sue Carpenter in it. Anyway, Richie is tasked with cooking Christmas dinner for them and their guests, Spud, Gun and Hedgehog.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you
However,
dismay.
being absolutely
Remember.
useless, it doesn't really pan out how he envisioned. Eddie drank all the brandy, so instead of brandy butter, he suggests vodka margarine. Richie cuts a finger off, which they then staple back on, affixing him to the table, and Eddie sets the tree alight.
Contact.
The turkey is burnt to a crisp, and the vodka margarine proved a little bit too flammable, so dinner is just written off. But when the doorbell rings, Richie discovers a baby has been left, and comes to the logical conclusion that it is the Son of God.
It's a box of Terry's all gold.
You can have my Frankenstein mask I was going to scare the shit out of Richie with later.
And you can have my bottle of aftershave. It's a new one. It's called Grr.
Gold, Frankenstein, and Grr. And you're all wearing crowns. Virgin!
But it turns out the landlord's daughter just left it there by mistake. Lucky for them, the baby needs feeding.
You don't mind, do you, gents?
No, you go right ahead. Go ahead. Merry bloody Christmas!
The greatest gift I could receive would definitely be finding my white whale of Christmas television. Coping with Christmas was aired on Channel 4 on Christmas Eve 1995. As far as I remember, it followed a family trying to deal with all the stress of Christmas, including a girl having to sleep in the airing cupboard as their nan took her room, but it's fine because Jesus slept in the airing cupboard. Santa mistaking her for a boy, and a lad eating so much leftover turkey that he starts to gobble like one. My tape either got lost or chewed up, but I need to see this again. So get on that. So what are your Christmas TV faves? I'm particularly interested in what other countries got in terms of holiday specials, since these are entirely based in my own, but I know that there are so many, even in the UK, I couldn't mention. So let me know in the comments so I can look some up. The Star Wars Christmas special does not count. We don't talk about the Star Wars Christmas special. Wishing you a very merry bloody Christmas and a smashing new year. Thank you so much for watching this very festive episode of Soft Focus with me, Sophie. Presented in my very tinselly studio this time. Hooray! Thanks, as always, to my patrons, without whom I wouldn't be quite as happy doing this. And thank you to you for watching it. Thank you to the people who actually comment and like and subscribe and ring bells and do all this stuff for the engagement and the algorithms. You're the best. Thank you. I haven't really watched many Christmas movies this year, other than the ones that I have watched on my podcast with my friends Simon and G, called Yomp. And we subject people to some nice and some naughty Christmas films. But we do that every week throughout the year. Not the Christmas movies, but the podcast. So if you like films, it might be worth a listen to. However, it is about 2 hours long because women never stop talking. Is there anything else I need to mention? Nope. Happy Christmas!